Hello and welcome everybody to Speed Gaming. We have for you today a quarter-final matchup here in the Zelda 1 Randomizer Speed Gaming Live 2020 tournament. On the left-hand side of your screen, the number 5 seed in our brackets, fcoughlin. On the right side of your screen, the number 4 seed in our brackets, Bogie. I am TGE, and with me in the booth today is Alsoa. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing fantastic and looking forward to this absolutely amazing match that is in no way, shape, or form going to be trolly to the players. Totally.
I mean, I personally want to see as much troll as I possibly can, although we do have some Mega Man Soccer being played on the left-hand side right now. Just a little warm-up to get you ready for the Zelda 1 action that's going to be coming your way.
I'm just hoping that everything boiled +4.
If we're talking about enemies rolling +4 and all that, overworld enemies that you're going to see, all of them are either plus or minus 4 HP. None of the boss HP has been touched, just the enemy HP. And the most obnoxious thing to roll that high HP, let's be honest here, is the keys.
Yeah, I was going to say the gels, but the gels are kind of a close second because their hitboxes are kind of wonky.
Exactly. At least with the gels, you're like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, the keys, that's the worst. Looks like we are going to be getting ready here and starting up momentarily with our runners. We do have the full start screen shuffle on, so they could start anywhere in Hyrule. And one thing I do want to point out before we start is overworld blocks of the wood sword are on. That means if the Armos item is like a recorder or a candle, it could, in fact, block our wood sword.
So the first thing we see is the 1 rupee bombs and one of the best start screens in the game, hands down, no questions asked. Yes.
I mean, it's a good start screen from the sense of that is normally one of the screens that takes a while to get to check for an open cave. That's about the only redeeming quality it has.
I mean, it's kind of close to the Graveyard Armos. If you do the screen wrap, you can get 2 Armoses relatively quick. I think there's actually worse start screens to be had than that.
Oh, there are absolutely worse start screens to have. A lot of the times that start screen is going to depend on what your overworld enemy set is, too.
But yeah, 1 rupee bombs is definitely something both players are happy about.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a 30 rupee medium secret here. And right now we don't know how good or bad that's going to be because the overworld itself is a mixed, a random overworld. So we don't know whether we're going to have the first quest set of secrets or the second quest set of secrets.
Now, there's a couple clues that you can use in game to determine what your secrets are. As we see a vanilla 20 for the door repair, and a raft is the Armos item.
Now, Raft is an interesting Armos item because it only opens up 2 overworld spots, but as we mentioned in the beginning, it could potentially be where your wood sword is going to hide. An interesting note there from Bogie. Didn't buy the 1 rupee bombs.
Unless he's deliberately saving up to buy those arrows early or is thinking about buying a candle, I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't buy those now, as Fred is in level 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's a 1 rupee bomb, so I find it very hard to figure out why one wouldn't take that. We also pop out our white sword item, which is just a heart container here on the vanilla level 4 raft spot.
Now, he's not going to buy bombs here either, and that seems kind of weird because he's already up here. We now know the bomb upgrade is expensive. My apologies. I would think you'd want to buy a bunch of bombs here and then just check all of Death Mountain while you're up here.
Yeah,
maybe that's what he's doing now.
Yeah, because it is super easy just to go ahead and buy the bombs here and then save. So you've spent 2 rupees, you've got 8 bombs, and anything you don't like when you bomb, you can just go ahead and negate that.
Well, it's not pure first quest overworld, based on Spectacle Rock not opening.
Right, and honestly, to me, I like seeing the mixed quest overworlds because that means you have the most checks you have to do because you're never quite sure which screen is going to have an opening on it. And as you mentioned, there are several locations that we can check to determine that. One of them being the vanilla level 3 location. You can get a good bit of information depending on what that is, what color that is. Also, levels 2 and 5 spots are also very good indicators.
Now, between the mixed overworlds, do you prefer the first quest or second quest cave distribution?
I personally prefer, I guess the answer depends entirely on what side of the coin I'm on. When I'm here on this side of the coin in the broadcast booth, I much prefer the second quest distribution on mixed, because it forces you as a player to have to prioritize how you handle your money. And there's a wood sword for Bogie in a very inconvenient spot up on the white sword cave. So that's never a good spot to be, especially when you're starting so far away from it.
Yeah, I don't imagine Fred is going to check that until probably when he goes to do his level 5 check.
Yeah, and that's the thing is with the mixed style overworld, you don't necessarily know what you're getting quite yet. So that's going to be a huge early advantage for Bogie.
Looks like Fred has found the any roads though, and one of them does take him to this northeast corner. If he decides to check level 5 in the waterfall post any roads, that could get him the sword much sooner than we were thinking he could get it.
Right, but he also does manage to find himself a candle as well, so I also don't blame him for trying to check some of these spots around where these any roads are at.
No, not at all, and he's already seen the Armos item, so part of the draw to go up to the northeast area is there's 3 Armos statues there. You can see the arm is very active today.
Yeah, unfortunately for Fred, when trying to check out where Vanilla level 4 is, what was in that cave, did unfortunately get the wrong side of a banana and gonna have to go back to the start screen.
That's why you check if your bananas are fresh, folks.
I mean, with how aggressive that was extremely fresh, and maybe a little sassy too.
So outside of that level 7 at the grave, we haven't seen a whole lot of dungeonage yet. Now, granted that we're like 5 minutes in, so it's very possible they just haven't been routed to yet, but I would think with how different the routes that these 2 runners have taken so far, I would hope we would have seen an additional dungeon by now. But now we know where the any roads are going to be at.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right on the dungeon thing. This leads me to think that a lot of them are probably going to be hidden under burn bushes because, you know, we're up in Death Mountain and we've seen a good portion of that already.
Let's see what's in this spot. Bogie died here last time he tried to get in, and it is our small secret of 20.
That is a fantastic small secret. That's the maximum number it's going to be. So back to the discussion we were having about first and second quest cave distribution. With a small secret of 20, that very much negates the downside of only having one large secret if we are, in fact, on the second quest distribution.
Bogie has now found his candle. Fred is up in the northeast. Let's see if he decides to go check the waterfall when he's done here.
I mean, it's a very common routing thing to do, is to screen scroll over, check 5, check the waterfall. Also, wouldn't surprise me if Fred's going to check everything up in the northeast first, and knowing Fred, we may get one of his patented HUD clips.
And I don't disagree with the decision to check the northeast first because it is a denser spot of open caves, and you can't go back to the northeast once you go to 5.
Right, so I definitely agree with checking this first, then figuring out what it's at. And hey, we're going to have to come back here anyway because we've got level 9.
And it looks like we are starting in the normal 9 column here. That is one of the things that was changed in the latest version of the randomizer, is that the level 9 starting column can now be any of the columns in 9, but you will still start on that bottom row.
Yes and no. You'll start on the bottom row of whatever column you're in. So if, for example, the column you're in only has 5 in it, you'll start on the bottom of that 5 spot. And apparently Fred decided he was going to just break everything. So we'll get back to you in a second.
This is the new version of the HUD clip everyone's been talking about, I guess.
The Stripes version?
Yep. Bogie is currently not finding a whole lot on Death Mountain, so you may be right about a lot of our dungeons being burn bush blocked.
Yeah, unfortunately for Fred, it looks like this is a full reset here. Thankfully, there wasn't too much progress for him that he lost, but he is going to have to go ahead and make up this at 8 minutes. Again, thankfully, aside from having lost a candle and some bombs, he does have information on where things are, so it is not the worst in the world that he's lost some of this, but it is going to be an 8-minute deficit he's going to have to come back from.
I would also argue that because he now knows where certain things are, he can more efficiently plan out where he's going to go to get his candle and his money and his bombs. So the net result may be less of a time deficit than that 8 minutes on paper, based on how he routes it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is this is where good mapping comes into play. Like, if you know what you've already checked, you don't have to go back and check them. So you haven't lost all of that time. You've still got the information from the mapping. All you've lost really is the time it's going to take to go back and reacquire what you had. And at this point for Fred, it's a matter of reacquiring the raft, reacquiring the candle, which he's going to get right now. So he's basically caught back up to where he was.
Yep. And he knows where the money is to get bombs when the time comes. Plus, he now knows the blue Octoroks, the slow ones, are 1 HP, so if he sees them, he can just burn them to try to get a bomb. The one thing that will do, though, is it may delay him from going to that level 5 area, which is where the sword is. Well, the waterfall specifically, but...
Right, but I mean, at this point for Fred, he only has very few open caves left to check, plus the east side raft spot, because of the raft being the Armos item, so he won't get there necessarily right away, but he knows he only has like 5 or 6 spots left to check, so that is in the back of your mind.
And we can combine that with, he still knows where level 7 is, which Bogie has not found, so Fred does have somewhere to go once he finds his sword to try to get some more items.
Yeah, we can only hope for this to be the seed where level 7 is the only accessible non-9 dungeon, and you need to go and get Recorder and Power Bracelet in some other dungeons to access most of the dungeons. That would be the ultimate dream right here.
I'm going to go a step further and say you get into level 7. That gets you the Power Bracelet. The Power Bracelet opens exactly 1 dungeon. That contains the ladder, which opens 1 dungeon, which contains the Recorder, which opens 6 Recorder block dungeons.
I love everything about that.
And for good measure, we'll throw in a required wooden arrows. Oh, it's for second quest.
Oh, fun. And unfortunately, there goes our dream, because Vanilla level 3 is level 2, which is weird because in second quest, the level 2 and level 3 Triforces switch, so it's kind of like a French Vanilla dungeon location.
I'm just going to say 5 Recorder block dungeons now, and we can still have the dream.
I'm okay with that. I'll allow it.
Fred finds an early heart in level 2. We'll see if he tries to take out the second item in here. And this is where Bogie having the wooden sword is going to start coming into play, because Bogie can clear a lot of these rooms that Fred is going to have to leave behind. Whether he wants to or not is another matter entirely.
Although Fred is able to get in here and get himself the Triforce out of level 2, so not bad, all things considered.
No, not at all, and I completely agree with the decision to just leave at this point. You don't have a weapon to kill the wizards with. For all you know, it's a garbage item anyway.
Yeah, and it's in a fairly easy to get to spot, and it's probably going to be a fairly small dungeon. Bogie in the map tells us it's a decently small dungeon. By the way, those of you in chat, we do like to play a little game here in the Zelda 1 Randomizer. Since the maps are generated randomly, go ahead and tell us in chat what you think that map looks like.
You know, when I see this level 2 map, I see an Atari person dancing with a tipped hat. Fred has found level 6 and immediately finds a transport stair. Not that surprising. And the keys rolled high.
They did. The thing we were talking about at the beginning. There is nothing worse than high HP keys.
It also has a lot of implications for forcing bombs in later parts of the game, because you can't reliably just smack the keys in the staircases to get your count belt up.
I mean, it is a variable thing. If the keys only have 2 HP, then the white sword is going to be a thing. But I love what Fred just did there. He opted to do the screen scroll quickly into where you would go for the Lost Wood skip and then back to unlock the door there to level 6. That's a trick you normally see in the vanilla run called a pirouette. You see it in the entrance to level 1, but it does work from any direction.
On Bogie's side, we find a second heart in level 2, making Fred's decision to leave that really not a bad one. The concern will be is if either runner wants to go for the magical sword, which for all we know we may never find. But Bogie is currently in a little bit of a better position to do that, and more importantly, Bogie has the knowledge that he's not going to have to come back to 2 if he's looking for one particular item.
Correct. And if Bogie does want to try and make a play at the magical sword, he has the requisite hearts to go ahead and acquire that heart container on the raft island.
Now, whether it's worth spending the time to go on the raft tile, come back, and just hope you don't get bopped back onto the raft to spot constantly by the enemies on the screen, that's up to the player.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not wrong there. Bogie, however, coming across level 6, he's going to be able to make a little more progress than Fred did because he's got weaponry.
But will he be willing to dig it knowing that level 6 generally tends to be on the large side, or will he say, you know what, I see Lionels, I see what looks like it's going to be tough enemies, I'm going to come back later?
I mean, I tend to think of dungeons like this. I tend to go with what has been coined the rule of 6. Is for bigger dungeons that I don't necessarily want to be in, I'll stick my head in for about 6 rooms and see what happens.
I'm the type of player that if I commit to something, I'm going to overcommit to it. So that will lead to digging a level 6 with exactly as much equipment as Bogie has right now.
I mean, I can get behind that. I absolutely get that. I feel everything about that statement. I mean, I tend to be a riverboat gambler when I play seeds, when I play race seeds, so 100% I get that. And this 6 is Tetris.
Yeah.
And for those of you in chat, I'm sorry if I got the song stuck in your head.
It's actually not that big, though, all things considered.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and seeing a 6 of this relatively small size scares me a little bit to see how big 5 and 4 are going to be.
Let's see if Bogie decides to do the screen scroll here to open this door.
I think he's going to try bombs first.
And is rewarded for doing so.
Yeah, Fred unfortunately didn't have any bombs at the time he was in here, which is a weird thing to say, Fred not having bombs. He is well known for no bomb left behind.
I mean, if the bombs don't drop, he kind of can't leave them behind if they're not there.
Right.
Finding a potential ladder block in level 6. We might have a path around it, and there's good indication we do. It depends on what's down here in this room.
Fred got the fairy drop he needed. Unfortunately, it decided to go the other way and just wave high from the other side of the rocks.
And it looks like Bogie is currently ladder blocked out of that south portion of 6. He's gonna now go through the shutter door that Fred could not, given he only had a candle. And Fred finds 4.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, Bogie with the big advantage here, starting with the sword. If Fred does manage to dig through one of these levels and finds himself something like the wand or the white sword, it's going to be huge for him.
I would argue even a red candle would be enough to get him going.
You're not wrong. Although I do find it interesting that we did see there that the Wall Masters only had 2 HP. I would have personally done what you were talking about is overcommit. I would have at least tried to kill the Wall Master room to see what that got me.
Yeah, because that room can be a stair room given that the second quest rooms are on. So I think there's like 2 rooms that have a block in that middle row that cannot be pushed, and every other room that has a block in that middle row of tiles. If there's a block on that middle row, the leftmost block can be pushed of those blocks.
I had to do a double take because I was about to say, oh yeah, Bogey's in that same room in 4 that Fred was just doing with the keys, but no, he's in 6. They just share a similar color scheme.
And at least the keys are 2 HP, so it's not like they're impossible to kill. That is a magic key.
And that's a Goma in a potential staircase room, also over there in 6. Also, that room that Bogie just went into, it's the absolute worst, whether it's the red or the blue. Coming in from the left side into Landmola's, it's awful.
It's not so bad when you have a wand, a red ring, maybe a white sword, a bunch of hearts, but elsewise, yes.
I can actually tell you something that makes it even worse. The other day, right here on SpeedGaming, I participated in some Zelda 1 Randomizer crowd control. And one of the options, and it's also a randomizer feature that you can do, is there's a way to increase Link's speed. In the randomizer, it's a feature or it's exponential to the rupees, and it's a thing on that. But doubling Link's speed and then having him go barely into a left-hand side room into Landmola's is scary and hilarious, and I don't recommend it, but I do recommend it.
Fred, knowing that it's a second quest overworld, he's now going to check his waterfall spots. He's about to get his sword. Also, rupee speed is amazing. But you can't screen scroll with it. Yeah, no, you can't. Like, if your speed is adjusted at all, you cannot screen scroll. And that is relevant because one of the things that can be turned on or off in the randomizer is the red bubble curse from the second quest, Red Bubbles. The 3 options that it gives you are the regular swordless curse, the slow speed, which is very, very annoying, or the inverted controls. See, the normal swordless curse actually feels very balanced because, let's be realistic, half the time you probably don't have a sword anyway.
Oh yeah, like, I can remember the last community tournament that we ran here in the Z1R community was the Random Percent tournament, where basically a good portion of the flags were either on or off randomly 50% of the time. And I remember the biggest sentiment about that tournament was all of the players saying, I don't really care what gets turned on and off, but for everything, I hope the red bubble curse is swordless.
I believe swordless on or off was actually a flag there, so if you get the red bubble curse as swordless and a swordless seed, okay, it's just a free damage boost.
Right, exactly. But, you know, people were like, yeah, if there's a sword and there's a red bubble curse, just don't give me a sword. And speaking of 6, that's the ladder in 6. That's a huge find.
That puts Bogie in a significantly stronger position than Fred is now. However, Fred is in the right area of 6. He may go to 2 first, and that's a very reasonable play to make, but if he decides to dig 6 afterwards, Fred may well be only just a couple of minutes behind here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that dig 2 to get the second item because it's a relatively small dungeon, and then go dig 6 because you're in the area. And Fred will make some risky plays. He's usually very calculated, but don't put it past him to make a risky play when he feels he's behind. And having to reset 8 minutes in, you know he feels like he's behind.
Oh yeah, and he has to dig 6 anyway for the Triforce. And based on what we've seen on Bogie's side, that Triforce is not necessarily easy to get to. So he may end up finding the ladder just looking for the Triforce anyway.
Yeah, it's also looking like that room that we saw with the blue Goma in level 6 has a very good chance of being the item here in this level 6. So we could have a bow-blocked item.
Looks like Fred is leaving level 2.
I mean, considering he's only got 4 hearts, wood sword, green tunic, and there are Wizrobes in that level too, and he knows he's looking for a floor item, I don't blame him for wanting to come back at a later date. We know he's not going to have to because it's just a heart container, but I don't blame him for that logic at all.
No, I think the logic is sound. He probably was. He might be a little bit disappointed that he's like, okay, well, 2 is Wizrobes. I'll come back later because of reasons. You just may not necessarily feel comfortable leaving an item behind in 2 because of how small 2 tends to be compared to digging a 6.
Right, but given the choice between banging your head against a room full of fireballs and Wizrobes with this short amount of HP, when you've already got the Triforce in 1 item out of 2, or going into a dungeon that you know you still have to dig for a Triforce, I personally am on the, I'm going to go and try and dig the items and the Triforce out of the dungeon I haven't beaten yet.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll see what Fred does here, because if Fred goes to the left here, he may get this early Triforce and he may just bounce.
Yeah, that's entirely a possibility here. Grabbing an early Triforce out of 6 and bouncing, I wouldn't blame anybody for doing that at all.
Now, there is the off chance that this is a ladderless seed. Fred will not have the magic key in that case. But there is a small but non-zero probability that Fred can beat the seed without the ladder.
Those are rare occurrences, but they do happen, and they are extremely fun when they do.
And in this particular instance, what makes it so relevant is Bogie and Fred are right now within about a minute of each other at most. If the ladder is not... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the only difference being that ladder, yeah.
And if the ladder is something that isn't needed, then that's Fred's way to catch back up from the unfortunate reset. Wand found in level 7 for both players. Neither is going to say no to it.
No, especially, did you see the fact that the red Darknuts went down to 1 shot from the wood sword?
I did.
And that's a fantastic thing for our runners. 1, because anything going down with 1 swing is fantastic. 2, red Darknuts are bomb droppers.
And they tend to be more common than the blue Darknuts, so when your more common enemy rolls lower, it's a good day.
Also, while we're talking about good days, bad days, and indifferent days, I'm not sure what day it is, but that map is certainly something. What do you think, chat?
We found our 2nd bomb upgrade. Neither runner has enough money to purchase it at the moment. I don't actually know if either one will get bought here, just because of how expensive it is compared to the 1 rupee bombs you can buy whenever you want. The only real drawback to that being you would have to leave whatever dungeon you're in to go buy those bombs.
Right, so I think if you have the option to go buy bombs, you're going to go do that. But considering we're in a dungeon right now that contains red Darknuts, which are bomb droppers and they're easy to kill, I don't think anyone's leaving a dungeon to go purchase bombs.
No, not at this point. I'm thinking more if you're like 40 rooms deep in level 9 type of deal.
I mean, we might get lucky and we may not have 40 rooms in level 9.
It is true. Here's Patra.
That is a Patra. Both of our runners in the Patra room at the same time. Interestingly enough, this is actually the Patra I prefer fighting because you know where it's going to go. You don't have to worry about it expanding and contracting on you.
I 100% agree. These Patras are the superior Patra, and the expanding Patra needs to look at itself in a mirror and reflect on its life.
It certainly does. It definitely needs to ask itself what it did. But like good heroes of time that we are going to go ahead and commit patricide here and continue on our adventure.
Both runners skipping this stair, knowing that they've already seen the stair item. They have no reason to check it, except this bomb wall doesn't open.
You had to say something, didn't you?
What'd I do?
The same thing we always do. Commentators curse something. Not sure what, but we cursed something.
Fred opted not to take the stair, but gets a fireball to the face as Bogie dies on the mold arms.
Yeah, so Fred not happy about that. Bogie not happy about that. You can see the frustration on both of their faces as they both go back beginning of this long, wending, and circuitous level 7.
And if you forget the fact that Bogie has a ladder, technically Fred's ahead by about 1 room. At most. Maybe half a room now.
That's the type of in-depth analysis you get here at SpeedGaming Live 2020, everybody.
Yes, if you ignore the one really major item.
They're neck and neck.
And if, again, there is the very low possibility that one major item isn't required, but I would still say Bogie has a significant advantage because he has that ladder. More importantly, because he can get that any key.
Yeah, and honestly, that is the bigger factor right now. Yes, both of our runners do have 4 keys currently, but some dungeons, especially the smaller ones, like a level 1, and hey, there's the Triforce, can eat up keys like nobody's business. So it wouldn't surprise me if the any key does play a very important role in the end result of this match.
Fred has decided to take his Triforce in level 7 and bounce with 1 item.
I don't hate the logic behind the play, because if you're Fred right now, you have to think, oh, I'm definitely behind. So you got the wand out of 7, you got the Triforce, and you're just going to go ahead, count your losses and continue on. I don't disagree with this play here. It looks like Bogie's going to do the same thing.
And also bear in mind, there's 7 hearts still out there available in the item pool. The chances of that item being a heart are pretty high at this point.
And it's also having to dig through the rest of a level 7 and kill enemies for a floor drop. If it was a stair drop, I would consider staying in because you didn't have a whole lot left in that 7. But considering you've already seen Patras and Gomas and you're looking for a floor drop, yeah, I don't blame either of these runners for saying, nope, I'm good.
Especially in Bogie's case, having seen the second Patra with the shutter door. Fred would probably like another heart or 2. Although he could go to the raft spot to get the heart there. There's a decent chance he can pick it up now.
66.6667, you get the % chance of picking it up. Yes, we're also out having you do math here at SG Live 2020.
Only a little bit, though.
Yes, not a lot, just a little bit.
I'm not going to go calculate the probability that any given item that they run into now will be a heart.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
Bogie has his any key. Now, what will be interesting to me, and this is something I always find interesting when one runner has the any key and the other one doesn't, is how does taking the key doors change how they route in dungeons, and what implications is that ultimately going to have?
It's interesting because I personally feel that it has less implications in the normal 8 dungeons and has so many more implications in level 9. I have seen people with the any key take every key door they've seen and loop themselves in a circle in level 9, whereas the runner who went in with 1 key and didn't take any key doors, oh, hi, here's Ganon 3 rooms in, here's Zelda 5 rooms in, I win.
I've also seen that. Bogie's in 4. He's going to kill these likes. Gets a bomb drop for his troubles.
So it turns out that Fred would have only got himself some bombs out of that deal and not a staircase item. So turns out he did make the right play, but, you know, it's always fun to sit there and say, I would have done this, and, well, there's a reason I'm sitting here and talking about this, and they're sitting here playing in the quarterfinals.
Yep. And Wall Masters are extremely slow to kill, sometimes in general, but especially with just a blue candle. Oh,
this is not a fun room to be in. You have, 8 blue darkness or 7 blue darkness in here, an inordinate number, and there's only 1 block in the middle of this room. That's more than likely going to be a push block for your stair item, but that room, without a lot of places to hide, that's a very, very rough room for all those darkness to be in.
It is, but the other side of that coin is that it does give you a lot more flexibility as far as moving away from them, so it really to me it comes down to how does the player prefer to fight dark nuts.
Strangely enough, when with a ladder, I want to be like in an NSG room fighting them. But when I'm ladderless, my favorite room to fight Dark Nuts in is the grid pattern room, because you can hide behind the blocks and just stab at them.
Fred is in level 5. He found that on the southern coast. We'll see what he pulls out of here. And I'm getting a sneaking suspicion that this level 4 might actually be split. Simply because we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen personally, a whole lot of bomb walls be opened up from Bogie bombing, but maybe I just missed it.
I mean, there is also the key door here that he didn't take, so there is a couple of options, but we're about to find out. No, it's just very flat.
Shame. Oh, that's a problem for Fred.
Well, it's a problem if he can't find himself a way around it.
Maybe. Maybe not. There is a locked door. Looks like I can get around.
Also,
that's
poor Bogie getting himself caught up in the horizontal shoot room again.
That kind of tells Bogie where he has to bomb in order to get to the Triforce, because there's no other way to get there.
I mean, nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned linear room.
According to that Vire, it was good to be the king in the previous room.
It's always good to be the king. Although, I have to suffice for prince because my name can translate into Gaelic literally means little prince, but we don't need to get into that, and this isn't about me.
Fred finds a transport in 5. Bogie is continuing to dig level 4. I don't believe he went back to that stair room to clear it, or potential stair room rather, to clear it out yet.
I mean, I don't blame him. It's a pretty easy to get to room near the beginning of the dungeon. So yeah, I don't blame him for just, I'm gonna go ahead and try everything else. And you wanted a split dungeon? Looks like you got one with level 5.
Hooray! The one-room split. Best split ever. Fred, now on the other side of that ladder block, is rescued by a couple of keys. He gets his map. Oh.
Oh, that's not. I mean, it's a segmented dungeon, but it's not.
Yeah,
that's the best kind.
That's a crazy troll staircase, and I love it. Just as much.
If not more, honestly.
I did not see if Bogie's picked up a floor item in 4. Based on him stabbing that Gleeok a couple of times, I'm going to guess not.
I mean, it could just
but
be
he
a
may
rage
also want the
stab.
help.
It could be a rage stab. I know I've rage stabbed several Gleeoks.
It's possible. We'll see if he goes back in or not with this health boost, because that health may be a factor in him deciding to clear that push block room.
Yeah, well, Fred's found himself a staircase item here in level 5, and just a little bit of love.
Womp womp.
I mean, it's womp womp to a point, but, you know, at this point, Fred's now up to, what, 7 hearts, so it's better, and seeing some of the rooms that we've seen, like this monstrosity that Bogie's in, it's not the worst.
I agree. It's just, Fred was probably looking for something a little bit closer along the ladder, bow, recorder line than a heart. Because those would get him into either more dungeons, get him his ladder, which he doesn't know where it is. Potential floor drop in this room would make a case for bow.
I mean, I'm always down for making a case for bow.
Bogie finds the white sword.
That is a fantastic find there for Bogie. Got to increase his damage output, make things a little bit easier. Keys are going to go down to 1 stab now. And we do have a double heart 5, but more importantly, I want to point out, or not double heart, that's a power bracelet. I thought it was a heart container. It looked like one in the Stalfos.
I was about to say, that is not a heart, that is a power bracelet. That could be a good break for Fred, given Bogie's going the opposite direction. If there is a dungeon blocked by the power bracelet.
I do want to point out something that Fred did there in the room before the Stalfos. You saw him split a Zol in 2, and then he did 2 things. He bombed, And the placement of the bomb would have allowed him to get to the room below had that been a bomb wall. But more importantly, he stored a bomb on a consecutive 10 count. What that means basically is in this game, it keeps track of how many enemies you kill consecutively. And if you kill the 10th enemy in a row consecutively, just normally, it'll drop you a 5 rupee. But if that 10th enemy is killed via using a bomb, then it will be a bomb. If you kill an enemy that doesn't drop an item, like the gels you saw Fred bomb there, then it will store that drop until the next enemy you kill, or until you get hit.
Preferably not both. Because if you get hit at the same time as you kill an enemy, it resets your count before the drop happens. Fred is now exploring the forest. I imagine he will go back to 4 in a little bit once he's done some more exploration here. Level 9 found for Bogie. And both runners are now on 4 Triforces each.
They are. Fred did find a nice shop there in the forest. Definitely something to keep in mind in case keys do become an issue.
And look at that. Level 3 is Power Bracelet blocked.
So that is a huge advantage for Fred right now. I don't necessarily know if it's going to negate the ladder advantage, but right now it definitely has the potential to, because we have not seen a ladder block.
And based on Bogie's routing, there's a decent chance he doesn't go back for that south coast for a little while here. If Fred finds something like a bow or a silver arrows or a red ring here in level 3, that's definitely going to propel him forward at a high rate of speed.
Not quite the high rate of speed we were talking about earlier with rupee speed, but still a fairly high rate of speed.
Yes. Well, there's some free cheese.
I do enjoy cheese.
Fred has opted not to take the cheese yet, though. Wants to keep exploring. Not a bad idea because of how easy that is to get to.
Is this where we start singing The Cheese Stands Alone?
No. Because there were wardrobes in the room, so it's not alone.
Disappointing, but acceptable.
We'll find a Triforce in a room alone, maybe near the end.
You do realize that if we start singing, chat will mutiny, right?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know what their preferences are. Maybe they like it.
It's Twitch chat. They'll mutiny whether they like it or not. Hey, look at that.
That's the level that we wanted to see.
That is, we got a little 3-piece suit action here at level 3.
So I see in this what happens when you tilt the cartridge slightly while playing Tetris.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Although, good news for Bogie, he is making his way to the coast. Bad news for Bogie, he's on half a heart, so he's going to have to be very careful.
Yeah, if he takes a death here, it's going to be a question of when does he come back. A heart in level 3 for Fred. Bogie is now in level 5. We'll see what he does here, because I want to say the stair item was like right next to the Triforce. The floor item was a little bit deeper.
It was definitely a little bit deeper, but that was a good thing for Bogie getting in there on that half a heart.
Fred is just looking for the stair drop here in level 3. Does get a quick bomb pack.
A quick bomb pack? How is that different from a slow bomb pack?
The speed at which you kill the enemies in the room.
Fair enough. I figured that was a better joke than Quick Man and Bomb Man, because we don't want to do Mega Man stuff. Or do we? Who knows?
And double heart in level 3.
Oof.
Nothing impactful in terms of items, but again, you still need the Triforce out of there no matter what. Bogie's going to have to make his way there with the Power Bracelet at some point. And if he leaves this floor item behind in level 5, that is going to come back to bite him. But it's a little early to tell yet.
Yeah, it's interesting because this 5 isn't necessarily the worst 5 to dig through. And we already did see Bogie go through and dig that level 6, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's going to go 5. Fred opting to purchase arrows here, and I like that purchase a lot.
I do too. You never know where your silvers are going to be. For all we know, you might be Goma blocked from the silvers themselves in that one floor item that I think we said there was a potential Goma blocked floor item in one of the dungeons. I forget which one.
It was the stair item in 6 is what we thought it was.
Oh, okay.
But Bogie has found our little troll staircase here.
You know, that hint of great power is said to lie in the book is not exactly wrong here.
No, absolutely not.
The book has been modified in this flag set to provide you with the maps of all of the dungeons as soon as you walk in. No need to find the map on the floor. Now, that doesn't guarantee the book is outside of 9, and that doesn't guarantee that the book is like so deep in 9, by the time you find it, you're done, but...
Yeah, the problem with the book is, so I've been playing a lot of the SG Live flags, you know, testing to make sure everything was good. So I was so used to the book providing maps that crowd control race that I was doing, I did earlier in the week here, was actually on the 2019 tournament bracket flags, which the book did its normal function, and that's it. So I'm like, oh, the book! I picked up the book, was so excited, walking into the dungeon. Wait, where's my map?
Bogie has taken the Triforce out of level 5. He is now going to go back in.
That is a good call for him.
Fred is now in level 4. He is poised to get his recorder. White sword. Bah.
Let's say recorder. I'm like, did we miss something here?
No, I just get items mixed up a lot.
No, that's fair. Although, speaking of the recorder, I do want to prep everybody in chat when we do eventually find the recorder. That's one of the other little fun things that we have here in the Z1R community is the normal recorder tune is bland and boring, and it shares the same tune with Super Mario Bros. 3. So we put in a feature where there's a bunch of different tunes that the recorder could play for you. So in addition to Name That Map, we're also going to be playing Name That Tune.
Just going to put out a bold prediction. It's going to be the Simpsons theme.
Is that because Fred's in this one?
Yes.
I did hear one of my favorite ones the other day, the Dragon Zord theme.
Bogie is going to pick up the heart, and based on the non-immediate up and A, he is going to go look for the second item, which is good because he does need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he already pot committed. He's got like 4 or 5 rooms left. I absolutely agree with going in and doing this. But if we're going back to the recorder predictions, I'm going to give a little classical here. I'm going to go with Toccata and Fugue. And now half of chat's Googling what the heck Toccata and Fugue is.
I know what it is.
Yep.
What also may be important to mention here is that this is a best of 1. So the winner of this will be moving on, and the loser of this will be packing.
Yeah, they've got a lovely pat on the back and a couple of parting gifts, which I'm not exactly sure what they are yet, but there's something. They exist. Also of note, the winner of this match will be taking on the winner of the 1 seed versus 8 seed match. The 1 seed being Fury SK and the 8 seed being Homer J Smash.
Fred has found the lovely shoot room in level 4 now. Bogie now comes across level 3. Still no ladder blocks yet, though.
That is true. Also, still no levels 1 or 8.
And that's a little bit scary, because there are 2 ladder-blocked caves on the overworld.
There are also a bunch more power bracelet spots that we haven't played with yet, either.
If one of the 2 remaining levels is ladder blocked on the overworld, then our question of are there ladder blocks in dungeons becomes pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah, absolutely. Although the Seed getting a little hands-on with Fred here in level 4.
Look, the seed wanted to give him a hand.
I mean, I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but it definitely did do that.
Fred is now going to use the wand beams to take out the Wall Masters and sees that there's nothing in the room. Fred is now down to 3 keys that may become relevant in the future here. Finds the heart on the floor in level 4. That is both of the items.
And now just a quick jot over to the Triforce, and we're all good.
Bogie will be done with level 3 soon, so we'll pretty much be right back where we were about 20 minutes ago-ish. Where both runners have roughly the same amount of stuff, just Bogie has a ladder.
Yeah, so the one interesting thing that we do know right now is we've pretty much found every item except 2, that being the floor item in 7 and the staircase item in 6 right now from the dungeons that we have found. And, well, there's level 1, so my statement I was about to make is moot.
This is absolutely the dungeon Fred wanted to see, because it has the same number of items as 8, but it's smaller.
Yeah, although statistically speaking at this point, you're going to need the items out of both 1 and 8 at this point, at least 1 out of each of them, more than likely.
Oh yeah, and with the 2 items still outstanding that cannot be in 9, there's a good chance that only one of them will be here. If any are here, they might both be in 8. They might be blocking each other.
Which would be hilarious and awesome.
Well, they can't block each other, I think. The logic would have to be kind of weird for them to block each other indirectly.
Right, I mean, they could be in the same dungeon, and, you know, you could have to take the long way around Goma to get to, like, a recorder or something like that with a bow. I mean, it's feasibly possible the way you're describing it. There is a heart container that was the first drop in level 1, not the item Fred was hoping to find.
And also not exactly surprising, given just, again, the sheer number of heart containers out there in the pool. Bogie opted to up A, but did not buy the bomb upgrade. Well, that tells me he might be thinking about a blue ring purchase here.
Let's say, yeah, he hasn't bought arrows, or he might be thinking about a blue ring, having 205 rupees, so yeah.
Red ring found for Fred.
That's huge.
It's one of those items that, again, you're not going to say no to. Fred may have wanted to see that after getting a bow or recorder, but he will not say no to it by any means.
Right, well, the other reason finding that is a huge thing right now is because if you're having to go back through and dig some of these dungeons that have, you know, less than desirable enemy sets, it makes digging them a lot easier and a lot more palatable. Because as you're getting down to the later portions of a race like this, as we get the map of level 1, that's someone doing yoga. But any and all deaths are extremely costly, so having the red ring is a huge, huge boon in that sense.
And it also takes a lot of stress off of level 9, as the red candle is the 3rd item in level 1.
So that tells us that level 8, either level 8 is a bunch of blanks and we're looking at bow in 7 into recorder in 6, or, you know, this is a very interesting set of circumstances now.
But here's the thing, though. If recorder, or if bow is in 7, at that point, I don't think either runner is going to go back to 6 for the recorder, because they know where 9 is, and if they found 8, they clearly don't need the recorder for 8, and it's, to me, absolutely worth it to gamble that there's going to be no Dig Dogger blocks in 9 at that point.
I have had a seed before where everything was going smooth, we're in Gomo, the whole 9 yards, get to 9, kill Ganon, have the path to Zelda, and it's Dig Dogger blocked.
I mean, that's a risk that you run, but it seems like it's a risk that you're more than willing to take in most cases. Because again, you have no reason to go back to 6. You have to dig in 9 anyway to look for where Ganon and Zelda are. And you know where 6 is.
Yeah, no, I absolutely don't disagree with that. Although, Fred is running out of places on the overworld to look.
He's got 2 Power Bracelet spots still here on Death Mountain. Bogie has gotten his Triforce out of 1. We'll see if he goes back in for the items or if he says no. He is going to go back in. I don't know. Yes, Fred did check the Lost Woods Power Bracelet spot. So he's got the 2 Power Bracelet spots here. If these fail out, I expect he will go to 7 before 6.
See, I disagree. I think he'd go to 6 before 7 because there's only 1 item outstanding in 7 where there are 2 outstanding in 6.
But on the other hand, he's seen more of 7 than 6, so he kind of has an idea of where it's going to be.
And he's also right next to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Also true.
Like, both decisions make sense. I'm just seeing it as from how much of 7 Fred's seen and knowing that he's looking for a floor drop and now has the red ring and white sword and wand. It's less potential rooms to have to look for an item in versus 6 where there's a lot of potential rooms because I don't think he's seen a map of 6 yet. For all he knows, 6 is 40 rooms.
That is true, though. Fred is going to go ahead and save here, so he's going to lock in the decisions that he has made right now and continue on.
I don't know if there's any Power Bracelet spots left. We may be Recorder or Ladder blocked from the last dungeon.
Best case scenario for Fred is this is a Recorder block.
If it's a Recorder block, that's going to force the bow to be an 8.
Not necessarily. It could force the Recorder could still be into that Goma in 6, and the bow could be in 7.
True. But if... Let me rephrase that. If Recorder's in 7, that forces bow in 8.
Yes, 100%. Although, I'm not going to lie, I want something to be bait blocked. I want something to be bait blocked at this point.
Bait blocked Recorder?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Fred is saying, nope, forget all that, I'm going to 2.
He does not have the second item out of 2 yet, and with his current setup, he is much better equipped to do it. Gonna be very disappointed with the heart container.
Very disappointed, but it's at least a small dungeon, so he's not going to spend a ton of time getting it. And there's the heart in level 1 for Bogie. He is done there. Bogie now needs to clean up this overworld. If the level 8 is found here, along the river, it becomes a monumental effort for Fred to catch up.
It absolutely does. Like, Bogie, that's the thing Bogie wants to see right now, is a level here in one of these 2 spots.
If it is Recorder blocked, and Fred opts to go to 7 before 6... then it gets a little bit more interesting. Magical Sword picked up for Bogie.
That could also be a power shift here. Fred does not have access to that Magical Sword right now. We know it's 13 hearts or less, so that is a huge, huge find for Bogie, as is level 8!
This is now a monumental task for Fred to make the catch-up happen here. However, this does not force Bo into level 8.
No, it does not.
And the silvers are still outstanding.
Right, the momentum has definitely swung in Bogie's favor here, but that doesn't mean it is done by any stretch of the imagination.
And now I would imagine Fred goes to 6 before 7, because 6 is now the closer done.
100%.
Fred will find his ladder here. He will probably curse a monkey, and then move on.
Bogie has got himself the Triforce out of level 8. So here now begs the interesting question if you're Bogie. You go in, you have to go back into 8, because you know that the bow is still outstanding. If you find the bow here in 8, do you gamble on silvers in 9?
I think it depends on when he finds it. I think if you find the bow early in 8, like within the next couple of rooms, you still have 2 items outstanding and you don't have a map. I think you go to 9 because you have to go there anyway. If you find the bow late in 8, there is an argument to be made that you go ahead and finish 7 off because you've seen a large portion of it before you go to 9.
No, I can definitely get behind both of those answers there.
Also, there was another potential Goma blocked floor drop in level 8.
Yes, that is true. We did
Potential Goma
just
blocked
see
item.
that. I mean, that would be the best case scenario for Fred here is, oh, hey, here's the bow, and silvers are Goma blocked.
And of note, Bogie has not bought the wooden arrows at this point.
Also of note, that was not a segment like Bogie was hoping. He went back to start. He did not pass go and did not collect 200 rupees.
Fred is now digging in level 6. We know this is what he needs to do, but that ladder is not necessarily free and easy to get in 6.
No, it's down the bottom part of this Tetris block.
Although Fred is slowly heading in the correct direction, so that's a good thing. Until the shoot room.
Let's say the horizontal shoot room, not a good thing.
And Fred's only on 1 bomb. But he can get around with the key, but now he's got to worry a little bit about his key count.
Right, but he does know that as soon as he gets the ladder, the magic key is in play.
But if you're feeling like... Let's say you get the ladder here and you feel like you're behind. You dig 7 anyway. And just gamble that required is going to be in 7.
If I get the ladder here, because of the location that I am, I screen scroll over, I world wrap, I pick up the magical key, I check the 2 ladder spots, because that puts me close to them. And if I don't find 8, then I go, and speaking of 8, there's the bow, now to see what decision Bogie makes.
We also can't ignore the elephant in the room. Bogie has seen 1 item out of 8, correct?
Correct.
Dig Dogger blocked silver arrows in 8, with Goma blocked recorder in 6.
That would be the spiciest of meatballs.
It looks like Bogie is headed over to, I'm guessing, okay, the Eddy Road. I thought he was going to go to a potion.
Yeah, that's it. The Eddy Road. The Eddy Road is going to get him closer to 9.
I was thinking he was going to go to a potion shop and maybe buy a potion before going into 9 to make absolutely sure he does not die. But he is going to make the gamble that silvers are a 9 with, to his knowledge, 4 items outstanding. That is a 33% chance.
Right, because we're still missing both boomerangs, the book, and the silver arrows. Because the recorder you can factor, you know that's not going to be here.
Right. Fred finds his ladder in level 6. As Bogie is on the hunt in level 9, it is Wizrobe, so that magical sword now becomes even more important than it was before.
Yeah, that is a huge, huge boon here. Best case scenario for Fred is exactly what you talked about. Items is that recorder block silvers, you know, Goma blocked recorder into Goma or Dig Dogger blocked silvers. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Although, we need to remember that Fred is currently sitting on 12 hearts. He may be able to pick up the magical sword, and depending on the order you do the ladder spots in, he may just come across it on his way to level 8.
That is true. If you come across it from that side, then you absolutely do run into it. If you come across it from the opposite side, you're not going to check that spot. Once you hit 8, you're going.
Yeah, I mean, unless maybe... Oh, there's the bait room.
I can hash cheeseburger.
It doesn't block anything, but it exists.
But I can hash cheeseburger, right?
Sure.
Yay, I like cheeseburger.
Bogie's found Ganon.
Bogie has found Ganon, and he does have the option of potentially bombing out of this room. Which he does. That would also be fun, having to bomb out of Ganon's room. I kind of want this to be the silvers now, right here in this room.
I mean, I do too, but it's somehow not super likely. Oh, it wasn't.
No.
Shame. Did we see all of level 6? Have we been up in this north portion yet?
Yeah, because that's where the stairs took us.
No, I mean this portion that Fred's in right now, that he was blocked, that he couldn't bomb into.
I don't remember if we've been in this portion or not. It was so long ago.
Well,
that's why he couldn't bomb into it.
In.
Yep.
There
is a dig dogger there.
That could be important. Especially if that's a one-way entry into a silver arrows.
Yeah, the spice is real here. Going to
Fred's
7.
going to check level 7. This could be big.
If this is silvers, yeah, it is.
And or there was another dig dogger block found in level 9. If Bogie can't get around that dig dogger, he can get around one way. But if he can't get around both ways, that could also be important. I don't disagree with this decision from Fred if he feels like he's behind. Because if silvers are here, that really helps to pull the momentum back.
Yeah, no. And considering how close this 7 was to where he was, and to where he's going to want to screen scroll to get the magic key, I don't blame him in the slightest for doing this.
Again, we don't know what's on the north side of that dig dogger door, because so far Bogie has not found a way in. If you have to go through that dig dogger to get to the silvers. There is an option for Fred here. It just depends on where the items fall.
Oh yeah, you are not wrong in the slightest here. And again, this has been a very interesting seed. Now, the more important question is going to be is how big of a time difference is there going to be if Bogie takes this? If it's less than 8 minutes, then Fred probably hates himself for the hardware issue. If it's more than 8 minutes, then it's not a big issue. Not that I think Fred is the type of person who would use that as an excuse. And, oh, the Patra sucked him back. Oh, that's awful.
But did the kill count? It did not.
The door didn't open. And I was saying, Fred isn't the type of person who would blame a hardware issue for anything. It's just one of those things where you have to feel when that happens to somebody, it just sucks.
Absolutely. Fred's going to take care of the Patra again, hopefully without getting sucked into the door. He does not get sucked in this time. And he's going to keep going here. Finds Zelda is your...
Yeah, and the worst part about the bomb doors there is they have some sort of weird suction to them that when you get close to them, they do just slurp you in like you saw happen to Fred there.
Another dig dogger, and this time it's in a potential stair room directly. 9 is just full of dig doggers today. That's got to make you nervous if you're Bogie.
Oh, it absolutely has to make you nervous if you're Bogie. I will say, though, from our perspective, this is perfect, adding just a little extra spice of drama here to this level 9. Gotta love it.
And not only that, it's giving Fred more and more time to keep looking for this floor item in 7, which... This floor item in 7 may end up being a deciding factor.
Right. Best case scenario for Fred is this is the silver arrows.
I would almost argue best case is actually its recorder. I'm one of those dig doggers in 9 is blocking the silver arrows. Because Bogie...
I could get...
The reason I say that is, 1, this 9 is big. It's not as big because that one column is only one room, but it's still pretty big. And Bogie will full clear this 9 before he goes to look for a recorder at this point, I think.
I think you have to at this point.
So that's why I say recorder in 7 could be as good, if not better, than silver arrows in 7. But both would definitely help Fred, no matter what.
We're about to find out, because this room here has to be where we're going.
Let's see. It's the recorder.
There is the recorder. Okay, so that is part one of the mission here. So that could be exactly what Fred. However, this does come with a price for Fred.
Gonna check these recorder spots.
There's more recorder spots to check than ladder spots, and you're probably gonna check all of those first.
But if he routes towards the ending key, he will probably check the ladder on his way to go into the desert. Because
Bogie has found Zelda, not to interrupt you, but up in the upper left-hand corner, Bogie has found himself some Zelda.
That's 1/3 of the puzzle he needs. And Fred is doing the screen wrap. Again, I think if you have ladder and desert available, or the river and desert available, I think you do the river first, because that is a one-way ticket. Whereas you can wrap down from doing the desert spots over towards the whistle spot near start.
I don't disagree with that. If I'm Fred, honestly, I whistle up to level 1 right now, and then do the river spots, which I think is what he's doing.
That's what it looks like. He is at level 2.
Oh, he's gonna get the 2 here in the Dead Woods first.
That's actually fine, because he can just whistle back to 1 afterwards. It doesn't cost him too much time. Boomerang in level 9!
First item in level 9 is our friend Lord Banana, the wooden boomerang, and you can see the smirk on Bogie's face as he finds that.
Fred is whistling away here. He is not checking the vanilla 7 spot. He has whistled to the level 3 spot, probably to get his desert whistle spots in.
Also to check the 1 by start.
You know, I must say, for doing the whistle spots, he's doing them very efficiently.
It really is.
But now you might have to start being even more concerned than you were before if you're Bogie, because, again, there's still the unknown Dig Doggers. There's still the potential that Silvers are an 8 even.
Stressful, but fun.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. At this point, if you're Fred, you find the bow immediately. I think if you're Fred, you gamble on 9 100%.
Oh, yeah. Like, you just have to you just have to at this point. Especially, you're an hour 10 in, you know who you're against. And even more so, just, if you're still missing a dungeon at an hour 10, you probably gotta figure you're behind, so just YOLO 9 down. But Fred will be able to check the Dig Dogger rooms on his way.
Alright, we can go up.
Yeah, and the other good thing for Fred here is if he...
Over.
Okay, now he's gonna go check the vanilla 3 spot.
Uncharted territory.
I have Bogie's audio up, but I don't know if he's heard Ganon yet or not.
Oh yeah, we bombed out again, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, that was a little while ago.
So Bogie is just looking for silver arrows at this point.
And if they're Dig Dogger blocked, do you think he goes to 8 or 7 first?
You go to 8 first, there's 2 items.
But again, you've seen more of 7.
Yeah, but where you are in relative to 7 or 8, 8's a couple of screen scrolls away from where you are in this 9.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Fred, looks like he might now go check his ladder spots, because he just finished Death Mountain. Yeah. Heck, this does mean he will miss the magical sword, though.
Yep, it definitely does, because you're definitely not checking that as you come across. And Bogie going to go ahead and find himself a spiral staircase here in 9. And nope, still nothing.
That one 5x2 room with the Dig Dogger has a very high chance of being the item now if that's a stair room. That's crazy.
That is absolutely insane, and I love it. Also, heart or nice?
Definitely nice.
100% there. You have the money, you absolutely do that.
Like, it doesn't matter that you have Red Ring and Magical Sword and 13 hearts.
Go to Oh, the dream is crushed!
And that is going to be it. Bogie knows where Ganon is, knows where Zelda is.
Yeah.
Fred has still got to find
do I dare make
the bow
here? Do I dare make the pun about those silvers?
Do it.
Bogie finding those, that's the nail in the coffin.
Take these stairs.
Yes. Yes. I approve. You have my
Thank you.
stamp of approval.
I have been good all night. I had to get at least one in.
Bogie now is going to go make some fried bacon.
Too. So. Yep. Nice and simple. 4 stabs and we're good.
You know, I've never actually had fried bacon. I feel like it'd be extremely
Really?
unhealthy.
Oh, it's extremely unhealthy, but it's also extremely delicious. Also, remind me when we get off air to tell you about something that I heard on the local sports talk radio show tonight. It's absolutely insane.
Duly noted.
Ed does find the bow here in 8, so it's going to be interesting to see how he chooses to play this. But again, it's going to be too little too late, as Bogie now just has to make his way over to the rest of the top of this road to find and rescue Princess Zelda.
I don't think Fred will stick around once he gets his Triforce. Like, there's just no conceivable reason to when it's now... Fred knows it's a 50-50 and he has to dig 9 anyway.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right here. I don't disagree with that in the absolute slightest. However, here's the big thing, is Fred going to go ahead and pick up this Triforce at approximately the same time that Bogie is going to finish. So he's going to know that he can take his time and do what he needs to do, and just go ahead, and that is going to do it. Bogie going to go ahead and find Zelda with a one-way entrance. Oh, by the way, ladder required again on Zelda.
Hey, maybe there's a way around.
Maybe. But that is going to do it. Bogie going to finish with a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 4 seconds. And that is going to put Bogie into our best of 3 semifinals tomorrow, where he plays the winner of the Fury SK and Homer J Smash match that will have already taken place. So, again, that's going to come up tomorrow. They'll have a best of 3. The semifinals and the finals, both going to be best of 3.
You know what this means, though?
What?
Item have we not seen?
We haven't seen the magical boomerang, and we haven't seen the book.
And those are both buried deep somewhere in 8 to be left never seen.
I cannot complain about this in the slightest.
I can complain about the book being deep in 8 when the runners probably wanted maps before that.
Right, but that's the other thing, is the book, just because it gives you maps doesn't mean it still doesn't turn your wand shot to the fire when it hits. So when you have a wand like you do and you've been putting it to use, sometimes you take a look at the book and you're like, is the map worth the trouble?
I imagine that also depends on what sword you have, because if you have white sword or magical sword, well, the value of the wand starts to come down a little bit. If you have just wood sword, definitely.
Also, I do love the fact that I made the Mega Man joke earlier about Bomb Man and Quick Man and all that, and we did have a Mega Man theme for our recorder, Proto Man.
Absolutely beautiful. And both runners saying, you know what, we're just going to bomb out of Ganon, because Ganon's really good about his security, but he forgot that the north wall was left unfinished.
Hey, you know, some paint and some paper mache, it looks good, right?
Yeah, nobody's going to come into my house with explosives.
Exactly. And they're not going to be bold enough to walk into my room and just look at me and wave high and bomb. No.
Yeah, they're going to go around. Now, that would have been an interesting development, though, if neither runner had tried to bomb out of Ganon's room. Ergo, one of the runners says, okay, Ganon's room has been found, go to 8 to try to find Silver's.
It is a very interesting concept. Also, again, Icon has cheeseburger?
Only one.
I already had one.
That means I get the other one.
Okay, that's fair, I guess. But now we get to see where this Dig Dogger takes us.
Yeah, now the recorder becomes even more of the red herring. A room we had access to.
Fair.
So there's a key.
But yeah, this is an interesting 9 that we've seen, and I haven't been paying as much attention as I probably should have been for this because it made no bearing. But this 9 does seem like it would be a very interesting beast if you didn't have the any key.
Yeah, I think so, because we've had at least a couple of locked doors that were like the 2 locked doors in a room. This room.
For some reason, like that room is like those rooms are awful. There, the ones where the spikes are in there, but not surrounded by their blocks. It's just for some reason they're just so hard to avoid.
Yeah, the inclination when you go into a room is you're gonna keep going in the direction you were going, and then the trap is there and it says nope, stop. Especially if it's a bomb door.
Yeah, that is true.
Fred is now doing his grand tour of level 9. We'll see how long it takes him.
The good news for Fred is he is in the general area of the map where the silver arrows do exist.
Wait, there's silver arrows in this game?
Spoken like someone who hasn't found them in a while.
To be fair, they probably exist more than Ladder does. Ladder just doesn't exist.
Is this the point in time where Fred's going through 9 that we have to sit here and have a therapy session about the ladder?
No, that's next week.
Okay, fair enough.
Fred is in the right area to find the silvers.
He's in
a little bit
the
lower.
spiral staircase.
He has bomb droppers in here. See?
Yeah.
Although I think he's going to do the take every stair known to man.
That's usually the strat. Because the way level 9 works is when you're in level 9 looking for the silvers, you find every transport staircase there is. When you're in level 9, you have the silvers. You find the items the first 2 staircases you go to.
And usually they're both hearts.
Or the blue boomerang.
Yeah, that boomerang.
A thing that exists for a reason I've yet to figure out.
It's great for Oko Siege, where the enemies have 0 HP, because then it's an 8-directional sword beam.
Yeah, I'll still take the wooden boomerang over it.
And, oh, there's the silvers.
Yeah, we neglected to mention that it was a required mugger room to get here.
Although, Fred did find those a bit more quickly than Bogie did, so...
Yeah, so Fred has the other 2 pieces of the puzzle, so now Fred can go back and kill Ganon. The problem here is that Zelda is buried up in the upper left-hand corner of this dungeon with only an entrance from the top, so... Yeah, she's in a very trolly location.
I thought there was an entrance from the right.
There might be. We'll have to check when Fred finds her. But anyway, oh, by the way, if you haven't seen this before, when you play as the bad guy sprite, you're fighting a giant Ganonized version of Princess Zelda, and you're going to rescue a small Zelda-fied version of Ganon.
You know, I don't know if the cotton candy blue hair works with, like, the... Or rather, the cotton candy blue skin works with the white hair.
No, but the red dress is a nice touch.
Agreed. Now, Fred may find a compass while he's out here exploring, so that could help him out quite a bit.
The problem with finding a compass is the fact that without a map, it's still hard to gauge.
Only there was an item that gave you the map. Oh yeah, the map.
Papers, please.
But we already found the letter.
We did, you're right.
Still waiting for the potion shop shuffle.
Potion shop shuffle where you can purchase 2 random things?
No, where the shop that's normally the potion shop gets put into the shop pool, so there's one shop that is letter blocked.
Oh!
So like your candle shop is letter blocked, your blue ring shop is letter blocked, etc., etc.
I like that. I like that a lot. And Fred has found himself a Ganon here, and that is going to do it for the race. And yeah, it was the one way. It was the one-way entry.
You are right. I did not see that correctly.
That's perfectly fine. It happens to the best of us. Nothing worse though than having the 3-way entry to Zelda, east, west, north, and she's in a vertical shoot room.
Yeah, I raised you. Zelda's in a tea room, and you skip the ladder, and the south entrance is bait blocked.
That's a good one. But Fred is going to go ahead and finish with the time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and some amount of seconds that I did not see because he reset his timer.
According to the race room, it is 1 hour and 24 minutes, 24 seconds.
Yeah, fun thing is over in the chat, Fred, I'm going to guess Magical Sword was in the other ladder spot that I didn't check.
We are joined by a Mr. Fred Coughlin. GG, sir.
Oh, thank you. That was a fun one. Hopefully it was enjoyable for you guys.
We were hoping the ladder
one
would
bad
be required. At least I was.
That ladder was very required. Multiple ways over.
Yeah, for the longest time, though, that was the only difference between you and Bogie was he got the ladder early out of 6. So for the longest time, you two were neck and neck, and the first 7 dungeons didn't require it at all.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a good shot, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, where's 8? And I made the wrong choice there, going for a recorder over, hey, I've got the ladder, let's go check those 2 spots quickly. Should have, but I just was like, yeah, there's no way it's going to be up there. Level 8 up on the river? No, that's not happening.
Until it does.
Until it does, exactly.
And then I was like, okay, maybe the dig doggers will be important. As I ran around, checked the entire overworld, I was like, nope, okay. Well, I mean, I did kill a few dig doggers in 9, so I was like, maybe it was going to be needed, but there were paths. And Bogie is an incredibly tough player, so when you do something like that, hunting down unnecessary items and making a whole bunch of unnecessary, stops on the overworld, gives the opening, and Bogie, took advantage of that, and great game to him. He's a fantastic player. I'm looking forward to seeing him now in the semifinals and finals.
Yeah, no, the semis and the finals being best of 3, they are going to be something to watch for sure.
Absolutely.
So I suppose now that you have been eliminated from the tournament and you know the other people who are remaining here in the brackets, do you have a prediction?
Honestly, I have a really hard time trying to say, any individual is going to win because there are so many, everyone who is left in this tournament is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I've seen Homer and Fury. Both of them are incredible. They've grown up. I feel like they're relatively newer. They're not like the first generation, but both of them I've seen come along, and any of them can win a race. You've got Mr. Cab and Eat My Steel, Fried Teeth, and Jake Hoper. All 6 of them who are left in Bogie as well. Obviously Bogie is now in the semifinals. Me trying to pin down a thing is literally, give me a coin, let me flip it 7 times, and I probably got just about as best of a chance as anyone else. I mean, there's really no one in there that I can say, oh yeah, no, they're not winning. I mean, Fury, as I said, has come in constant almost any tourney I've seen. I guess maybe I'd have to say Fury if you're going to twist my arm to pick a name, but literally it could be any of them. And I would be, not surprised in the least to see any of them win.
I mean, I wasn't going to twist your arm, but if you're going to do it for us, I'll take the answer.
Sure. But as I said, literally it's, looking at them, every single one. I mean, technically Bogie has a slight advantage right now because Bogie only has 2 matches left to win instead of the 3. So I probably should say Bogie actually at this point because gives me the best chance of actually getting it right. I could try to do some weird Steiner math from wrestling to now say that Bogie is transferred in my percentage. Well, that'd be more of the. I think that'd be more of the Monty Hall paradox in this case of my percentage transferring into Bogie. So now Bogie now has a 25% chance, where everyone else has a 12.5% chance. And I could try to Steiner it up a bit, but
as long as we understand there's a 144 2/3% chance of Bogie winning, we're all good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you remember to carry the pie?
Pie.
Get out of my head, Fred.
I said it first. Maybe only been milliseconds, but I said it first.
Fred was accounting for the Discord lag.
This has been absolutely a blast tournament to watch, seeing everyone playing all this stuff. I mean, the whole SpeedGaming Live event here has been great. So again, shoutouts to SpeedGaming for running an amazing event. Thank you, TG and Alsoa, for running the commentary here, and thanks as well to Kiros for doing the tracking. It's been absolutely great. I'm looking forward to watching back the restream of this at some point here. And as I said, the whole event's been fantastic, playing all these different games, getting a whole bunch of gamers together online and playing a whole, such a wide variety of games. The Mario Maker, the Metroids, the Randomizers, Castlevania, Mega Man, pretty much, or Mega Man X, I think, every single one of those. It's been amazing to see these. It's been fun seeing all the different things that have happened. And again, just shout outs to everyone on the crew there who are putting this all together. It's absolutely a blast to watch and play.
Yeah, it certainly has been for sure. So I don't have any other questions. Also, do you?
No, I think we got everything covered, more or less. I'm going to say yes, we got everything covered.
All right. Anything else you would like to say before we let you go, Fred?
I think at this point I'm good. Again, great game. Oh my gosh, my brain. I read too many of those names there. Great game to Bogie there. Bogie is, as I said, fantastic competitor. Hopefully Bogie wins. That way, I could say I lost to the champion. We'll see what happens there going on. But as I said, this is going to be a fantastic bracket. Any of the permutations as possible. So everyone, make sure you tune into the semifinals and finals here as they're coming along. And as I said, thanks again for the time and for calling us.
Not a problem again, and thank you for participating. And Fred did take care of most of what I was going to say here. So SpeedGaming Live 2020 is going to continue on throughout the rest of the weekend here. So stay tuned to both SpeedGaming and their family of SpeedGaming channels so you can get all of your gaming fix. As Fred said, there are plenty of tournaments and the marathon going on. So if you're not a big fan of the tournaments, you can go ahead and watch the marathon on SpeedGaming 2. If you're more a fan of the tournaments, we got that. There's Link to the Past Randomizer. There's Ocarina of Time Randomizer, Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, Super Metroid, Mario Maker. There is a ton of stuff. So you will be able to find something that suits your fancy here throughout the rest of the SpeedGaming Live 2020 weekend. So with that, on behalf of our 2 racers, Fred and Bogie, our tracker here behind the scenes, Kiros, and my broadcast partner in the booth, Alsoa, I am TGE, reminding everybody to, of course, as always, keep hailing,